Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Hope you all are doing good. SSC has released our response sheets of CGL Mains that has been conducted on January 19. To be honest, I was pretty contented when I saw my score initially, but then when I went through my response sheets, I was pretty disappointed because of a few mistakes that I've committed. Because if not for those mistakes, my score would have been about 360. So I'm putting these questions up on the channel so that you realize how important it is to be a little extra careful on the day of the exam, because just by being a little extra careful, you can actually increase your scores by 10 to 20 marks. Okay, let's start the video. In our first question, you are supposed to find the missing number in the series 8, 32, 72, 20, 128. So whenever you look at a series, the first pattern that you try to find out is based on the difference between the numbers. So here if you see, the difference between the first two numbers is 24, and then it's 40, then it's 56. And if you see the difference between these, it's 16, 16, and if you add 16 here, it will be 72. So if you add 72 to 128, it's going to be 200. I still remember coming out of the examination hall thinking that I've marked 200, but I don't know, when I looked at my response sheet, it's marked 300. So if I would have been a little careful while marking it, I would have had extra 4 marks in my scorecard. Okay, in this question, if a chord of a circle subtends an angle of 60 degrees at the circumference, find the ratio of the radius to the chord length. We all know angle in a semicircle is 90 degrees. So usually a diameter subtends 90 degrees at the circumference. So in order to subtend 60 degrees, the chord has to be below the diameter, and the figure is somewhat like this. So if this is 60 degrees, we know the angle at the center is going to be 120 degrees. And since we know that these are the radius of the circle, both of these angles are going to be equal to 30 degrees. So from this, we know this is going to be 2r cos 30, which is equal to r root 3. We are asked to find out the ratio of the radius to the chord length, which is r is to r root 3, which is 1 is to root 3. This is such an easy question, and when looking at my response sheet, I've marked this as 1 is to 2. I still don't know why. Again, if I would have been a little extra careful, I would have marked this correct too. Now, a hemispherical tank of radius 2.1 meter is emptied at 7 liter per second. Find the time to empty half the tank. So initially let's find out the volume of the tank, which is 2 by 3 into 22 by 7 into 2.1 into 2.1 into 2.1. This is in meter cube, so if you convert this into liters, you have to multiply it by 1000, and if you divide this by 7 into 60, you get the number of minutes that's required to empty the tank. Since you are only asked to find out the time to empty half the tank, you have to multiply this by half. So this is 3 7s are 21, which is 0.1 times. So this is 0.3, 260, and this is 205s. Okay, if you multiply 5, 0.1 and 22, you get 11. So in the exam hall, I did not notice this 2.1. So if I would have noticed this 2.1, it would have been 11 into 2.1, which is 23.1, and I would have marked 23. But I did not notice this 2.1 and I ended up marking 11. Again, I got a question wrong here. And coming to this question, here you can write this as 1 by 6. Since 0.08 is 1 by 12, you can write this as 10 by 12, and this is 1 by 3. Since you have divided by symbol, everything that comes after this, you'll write its reciprocal. So this is 2 by 9, so you are going to write 9 by 2. This is 2 by 3, so you're going to write 3 by 2, and this is 1 by 8, so you're going to write 8 by 1. So this is 4 2s are 8, and 3s, 3 3s, and this gets cancelled, 3 4s. So you're left with 10 by 4, and that gives you 2.5. I probably would have missed out on this 10 here, and I would have directly written 1 by 12, and I've seen in my response sheet that I've marked the fourth option, but the correct option is 1. Okay. For this question, I've marked 25 by 120, which is the correct answer, but it's given 23 by 120 in the response sheet. Let us hope there would be a correction in the final answer key. That's it, guys. I'll also post a video where I'll be solving all the 30 questions that have been given in the SSC CGL Mains quant section. And thank you, and subscribe for more such content.